response to the new GISWS Frost and Sullivan report. The major factor that stood out for me from the study results was actually the dichotomy between the rush to use new technology and a willingness from industry to completely disregard security issues in this rush. The report tells us that the information security community admits it needs better training in these new technology areas, but at the same time it reports insignificant numbers that these same technologies are already being deployed without security in mind. I think as we look over history, our recent history, we see that's happened time and time again with a new technology developed with the security added as an afterthought, as a plug-in. That is not very helpful to us. And this particular report particularly talks about cloud computing and social media, which many of us are already concerned about. But this concern is now backed up by some really good data. What other issues were in the report that gave me a lot of concern? I was very disappointed to see that application vulnerabilities still represent the #1 threat to organisations. That more than 20% of information security professionals reported involvement in software development. So I just think that we should have learnt already about application vulnerabilities, but in fact we see ourselves having to deal with these all the time, and we see the problems that are associated with them. I also was in some ways pleased to see that the use of mobile devices being highlighted as a security concern, but I'm concerned too that we haven't begun to deal with this in a more holistic fashion. I think we need to. I was interested that actually the stats on developing countries illustrate that there are opportunities for growth, but whereas some of us in perhaps more developed countries see a huge divide between ourselves and the less developed, that the survey respondents in developing countries on average only seem to have 2 years less experience than those of us in developed countries, and that they were actually, it was amusing to see that they were actually able to spend more time on security management. This is very helpful, gives a much better perspective on the developing countries. When I think about whether the profession is up to the task of defending against the threats in the report, I just think that we live in a very complex world, and the multiplication of devices just makes the situation much more complex. So it's very exciting, perhaps with this more general move to cloud computing and other kinds of technologies. Also, we're still living in a place where we have to grow the skills to be able to defend them. I'm not sure that we have yet come to terms with the very complex issues that arise from securing whole systems, where these systems themselves can contain more mobile devices. We have the complexities of process control being interconnected with IT and corporate systems. So I believe that we need ongoing training, and I suppose my conclusion from this report, its effect on me as a researcher, as a teacher, means I see that I now need to continue to refine my curriculum. And what I'm happy about though is it provides good data to support me in my research agenda, particularly when I look at the issues of cloud computing, cloud forensics, and also the diverse issues that occur around the multiplying of small devices, which are both communications and computational devices. So overall, I'm encouraged that this report in some ways affirms my beliefs about the complexity of the issues that we face.